To many fight fans around the world, boxing is an art form and things such as movement, defensive excellence and class are their forms of entertainment. However, there are also many fans who want entertainment in different ways, whether it is through a fighting style which produces wars and slugfests, showmanship, or factors outside the squared circle such as flamboyant entrances and trash talk. A conversation which is commonly brought up in the world of boxing is about who exactly is the most entertaining fighter ever. To dive deeper into that debate and conversation, USDT Casino recently commissioned a survey, which 2,500 UK boxing fans contributed to rank fighters past and present based on their ability to entertain, not just inside the ring, but through their entrances, press conferences, and overall showmanship. 1. Tyson Fury. Professional boxing record, 34-2. Around the time he fought and defeated Vladimir Klitschko, Tyson Fury was commonly looked at as a defensive fighter who wasn't typically involved in exciting fights. However, later on in his career, the Gypsy King turned into the ultimate showman and has competed in many incredibly exciting fights. His trilogy bouts with Deontay Wilder and his fights against Alexander Usyk are some of the most exciting heavyweight fights of his generation and a sign that Fury turned the public's perception of him being a boring fighter right around. As has been mentioned several times regarding other fighters who have featured on this list, Fury's showboating inside the ring contributes to his entertainment value, and when it comes to trash talk and iconic ring walks and entrances, no heavyweight of this generation even comes close to the Gypsy King, and that is probably why he ranks right at the very top of USDT Casino's ranking as the most entertaining boxer in history. 2. Prince Nassim Hamd. Professional boxing record, 36-1. Just like another man who appears in this list of the top 10 most entertaining boxers ever, Chris Eubank Sr., Prince Nassim Hamd is another fighter who is the absolute definition of a showman. Although Hamd had absolutely everything when it came to entertainment factor outside of the ring, such as his ring walks, trash talk and just the general way he carried himself, the peak of his entertainment came when he was performing inside the squared circle. Hamd was the ultimate showboater during his fights, and he not only used his showboating to show off to the crowd and entertain, he also did it to mentally break his opponents and show them they weren't on his level. 3. Mike Tyson. Professional boxing record, 50-7. In boxing, there will never be another fighter like Iron Mike Tyson. When Tyson burst onto the scene in the 80s as a brash, confident but terrifying prospect, everyone knew they were witnessing something special as his pitbull-like aggression combined with his ability to box technically had never been seen before. 44 of Tyson's 50 career wins came via KO, and his ability to not only finish fights but to finish them in devastating and brutal fashion. And that entertainment factor is why he is one of the biggest stars in the history of the sport and one of the most popular fighters of all time. 4. Floyd Mayweather. Professional boxing record, 50-0. Although the word entertainment isn't often associated with Floyd Mayweather for his fighting style, there is no doubt that when it came to other criteria of entertainment, such as trash talk, ring walks and showmanship, Money was extremely entertaining to watch. Although Mayweather's defensive excellence and skill were always appreciated by boxing fans, his style was often criticized, especially later on in his career, as he didn't possess much finishing potential. As mentioned, although it may be a surprise to some to see Mayweather this high on the list, all factors of entertainment are taken into account and, throughout his career, he ticked a lot of boxes. 5. Ricky Hatton. Professional boxing record, 45-3. When British fighters get to an elite level and start performing against the best of the best on the world stage, they are always very well supported. However, Ricky Hatton was supported and loved on a completely different level to most. The main factors behind Hatton's incredible support were his fan-friendly fighting style, his relentless pressure and output, as well as his image of being a true man of the people and a people's champion. When the bell rang, the Mancunian was all action, and although he didn't pack brutal one-punch KO power, his volume and output throughout the fight were grinding and incredibly entertaining to watch as he never stopped throwing. 6. Chris Eubank. Professional boxing record, 45-5. There may be no bigger and better showman in the history of professional boxing than Chris Eubank Sr. When he was actively fighting, Eubank Sr. ticked every single box a boxer would want to tick, as not only was he a high-level and entertaining fighter, When it came to his unique personality and dramatic entrances, he was untouchable and nobody did it like him. When people think of the career of Eubank Sr., their minds are instantly cast back to his catalog of amazing fights, especially his two iconic wars with Nigel Benn, which gave him a reputation of having an unbreakable heart and an iron chin. 7. Anthony Joshua. Professional boxing record, 28-4. The next Brit to feature in the top 10 of the most entertaining boxers ever is Anthony Joshua. As things such as ring walks and a fighter's showmanship are taken into account for this vote, AJ is an absolute must for inclusion as he is the ultimate heavyweight showman and has competed in blockbusters and stadiums across the UK for years, and his ring walks are as good as they come. As well as AJ being the ultimate showman and cash cow over the years, he has also competed in his fair share of wars, and he hasn't had many boring fights. Joshua's fights against the likes of Daniel Dubois and Vladimir Klitschko are some of the most entertaining of the modern era at heavyweight. 8. David Haye. Professional boxing record, 28-4. Although David Haye was viewed as arrogant and cocky throughout the majority of his professional boxing career, those are the things which made his fights so entertaining as he had so much on the line. As a cruiserweight, the Hayemaker was one of the most dynamic and quick fighters alive, and he maintained these attributes when he moved up to the heavyweight division in 2007, which made him somewhat of a rarity in the division as, although he mostly had a size and weight disadvantage, he still managed to compete at a high level while maintaining his entertaining fight style. While there may be some bias behind Haye's ranking, given the fact that this vote was decided by UK boxing fans, he was still a very entertaining fighter to watch. 9. Deontay Wilder. Professional boxing record, 43-4. If there is one thing that all boxing fans can agree on, it is that there is nothing better than watching big heavyweights who hit like trucks slug it out in the center of the ring. In his prime, Deontay Wilder was arguably the most terrifying heavyweight boxer ever and, to many, is the most powerful puncher the sport has ever seen. The Bronze Bomber has an insane catalog of brutal knockout victories, and that is why he was so popular and such a big star when he was at the top of the heavyweight division. Although he did carry insane power, another factor which made Wilder a must-watch was his ability to bite down on his mouthpiece and scrap it out when, on the rare occasions, his opponents could withstand his power for over 4 rounds. 10. Derek Chisora. Professional boxing record, 36-13. As USDT Casino's survey was decided by UK fans, it should come as no surprise that Derek Chisora is featured in the top 10 of the most entertaining boxers in history. Although Chisora has always struggled and fallen short when he has competed against elite competition, he always comes for a scrap and has been involved in some brutal wars over the years, which have turned him into a modern-day British boxing hero. Del Boy has earned himself a huge fanbase, and it is all because of his willingness to scrap, his toughness and his heart, which is on show every time he steps in the ring.